Hey, you're listening to a special episode of TGIF Geocaching Radio, recorded live with special guest geocaching YouTuber Hullsome, plus an active chat room to celebrate his fantastic 1 million subscriber milestone. Listen up because you could win a swag pack prize by answering a question by emailing in an answer revealed somewhere in the show. So thanks for tuning in. Now, let's go!
This one's named Shooting Star, and I think I've got a good idea why. All right, let's see what happens when we pull it all the way and bit. Let's go! We caught it too!
Hello everybody, welcome to TGIF Geocaching Radio. It's a podcast with a regular dose of curated geocaching news and adventure, contests and hot topics, and highlighting many experiences that may await you. And I'm Jeff, aka the Bruce Zero. So let's just, hang out for a while. It has been a while since we've done a live stream for TGI Friday, and so felt that this was a worthwhile event to go live again, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes smoothly. First off, there will be a couple of prizes to earn from this. There's a live stream prize for anybody in chat, so you can watch for instructions on that, and then I'll have one for podcast listeners as well. They can email in and be entered into a draw prize there. We'll go over the prizes in a few minutes. I want to first off give thanks to all the patrons who support Cache the Line. It wouldn't be possible without you, so you can check out how you can support at patreon.com/cachetheline. You can support with monthly or yearly amounts, and what you can earn and unlock is all listed there in the tiers. And you can find TGIF Geocaching Radio on YouTube and on pretty much any major podcast player. So if you're new to geocaching, you'll find loads of information and adventures and links to shows and movies and videos to show you what this awesome hobby is all about, both in audio podcast form and on Cache the Line on YouTube with loads of videos. So, without further ado, let's go and get Hullsome.
There we go. What's up, everyone?
We got a lot of people in chat, and it's active. It's awesome. I know there's been a first question that we wanted to to put forward. Pizza Ninja in chat asked what your favorite pizza is.
Are we talking like favorite brand or like what I would get at Domino's? I would have to just go with like a classic pepperoni, maybe some sausage and mushrooms on it. But if we're going for like a style, I've lived in Chicago for a bit, so I'm gonna go with some deep dish pizza. Giordano's, that was my go-to deep dish pizza.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of, I kind of want to have pizza, but not right now. Not right now. This is kind of a special episode. There's kind of you're kind of a celebrity in the house in the geocaching realm. So yeah, you are a geocaching vlogger, not the geocaching vlogger.
True.
But you may have, if you're watching and listening, you may have seen him on YouTube. It's Hullsome, Hullsome. And, well, Josh, I've been wanting to chat with you for some time now.
Absolutely. No, thank you for having me on. I haven't really jumped into this realm and haven't done many podcasts, so really looking forward to it. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. It's good to have you, and I mean, 1 million subscribers, that is a huge milestone. I'm looking to see if you've got a YouTube button there in the background, but I don't see one.
I have the letter. That they wrote me for 1 million. I could definitely go grab the play button.
I would love to call you an up-and-comer, but I think your audience is actually more than all of the other geocaching vloggers combined. What do you have to say for yourself?
Oh man, I don't know. I just like finding little hidden pieces of paper, I guess. Who knows? I don't know. I think I just found a formula that works, and I think I'm just passionate about it, and it kind of comes through the phone, honestly. So but I'm not sure how to sum it up, honestly. It's crazy to me too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you make all your videos on your phone, right? You don't have another camera?
So I don't until, I was thinking, there we go. Yes, I can. All right, it's right here. So I got this. This is the Pocket 3. So going into a lot more long form. So that's going to be my big transition this year. I've kind of already started doing it. A lot of my videos they used to be like 15 seconds, like 20 seconds here and there. Now they're all kind of like 59 seconds, the longest a short can be. So basically this year's goal is to really get more into the long form and eventually kind of transition to where pretty much all my videos are going to be in long form with some, we'll kind of lead into my finds with short form, and then you'll have to go to the longer video to watch them. So,
yeah. Well, because what I noticed is when I first saw you on YouTube, it was all shorts. And if you look at your channel on YouTube, you really don't have a lot of long form videos. Like it's about 2 pages, scroll, and you're done, and that's 2 years ago.
No, yeah, pretty much. So in the last 2 years, I'm less than I don't even know, 20 or 30 videos. And a lot of them recently have just been vertical. The biggest issue is, I'm all about ease of access. Even when I wanted to get into making videos and everything, I just wanted it easily accessible, something that was already on me. Media can confuse me sometimes, honestly, like files, downloading, uploading, camera, formats, all of that. So, I used to, up until somewhat recently, I would just like edit in the TikTok app and like edit on Instagram and stuff. So, thank goodness I discovered CapCut and some good editing software, to make my life a little bit easier. But, I pretty much since I started a few years ago, I've taken all my videos in vertical. So that's kind of why I've stayed in the shorts and reels and, TikTok. But now as YouTube becomes kind of my main platform that I want to focus on, long form's definitely going to be in the mix there. So we got that with a lot of great trips planned too. So
is there a reason why you want to move from TikTok to YouTube? Because I think you started out on TikTok, right? I think when I first saw you, I think you were re-uploading, as most people did when TikTok got popular, repurposing your TikTok videos for YouTube.
Yes. Yeah, I got lucky with that one. I actually had a childhood friend. He has a YouTube channel. I think he has like 350K subscribers. John Zoid's his name, but he does technology and stuff. And he was the one who kind of gave me a whole mindset shift on what this could be, really. I was like a month or two in, and I had made a couple geocaching videos, but he was the one who really sat me down and was like, dude, you can basically teach and show people this hobby. They're going to enjoy it as much as you. And it might be it might take a long time to come to fruition, but like you should just keep teaching, keep teaching, because those are all the biggest YouTubers. It's just people who teach and inspire and educate. So he kind of changed my mindset on that. And he was also the one that told me, hey, just re-upload your TikToks. Just download it with the watermark, whatever, re-upload it on YouTube. So the first few months I did that, probably 6 months after I had created my first TikTok, I started just uploading the shorts. And for like a year, I just left the watermark up. I didn't edit anything. I threw a title on, and then all of a sudden I started gaining a lot of traction. I hit 100,000 subscribers, like probably less than a year in. So it happened quickly. And then YouTube started paying for shorts last February. So that's really when it became a game changer, because that's how I can help fund my adventures too.
Yeah, the monetizing of shorts videos. I think, because TikTok kind of got in there first, and then YouTube tried to sneak into that little demographic as well.
Yep, and Instagram's now trying to as well. So we're gonna have a big battle, and they're all gonna get in on it. But that's one of the reasons I started this too, though. I think that's the future of media in general. I work in cable TV type, and not to say that that's not a big place currently, but I think moving forward, you're just gonna see people's attention shifting more and more to personal content and like YouTube, TikTok, all of these platforms. So I knew it was just the beginning, and I knew also throughout time these platforms would kind of go back and forth and the main point of it is the creators should be the focus. So I think the platform that focuses on creators is going to do the best. And I think right now that's YouTube. I think YouTube's just got its own thing. And so that's kind of where the pivots come from. Like I still see value in short form, still think it's has a place. But really I'd like to just get into more longer form content. And
your TikTok profile has over 1 million followers as well. Did you do any celebration for 1 million there? Does it feel like 1 million people on TikTok?
TikTok's weird because even though you can have 1 million followers, like it matters a lot less on TikTok. Because, I still have videos that get under 100,000 views or under 50,000 views, even though I have 1 million, what it does, I think it increases the odds that videos do get discovered, or the chances, I'd say maybe 15% of videos now reach into the millions. Whereas, if I had only a couple hundred, like it'd probably be a lot harder to reach that virality. But honestly, followers on TikTok aren't really a huge thing. And another weird thing about TikTok is like, I make videos that my followers might understand, but people that don't follow me have no idea what is going on. So it just kind of depends like what videos blow up, which ones do well and which ones don't. And really just like focusing on my followers and making sure they're entertained and they know what's going on at least. I'm talking about difficulty rating and micro sizes and stuff. So the average person that doesn't know about geocaching would probably be lost. But as long as I am speaking to my followers, that's kind of just what's important to me. So I think I hit 1 million about a year ago, and I'm getting very close to 1.3 now on TikTok. So that's it's still my biggest platform.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing that I've noticed about a lot of the vloggers is that the ones that tend to do better are the ones that have something unique about them, something, either it's their character or a subject matter that they focus on and things like that. And so obviously geocaching vloggers been around for over a decade, and quite a number of us have been around since late 2010s now. And but we're kind of, we're just kind of in that niche of the geocaching community, whereas you are coming in and you seem to, just for the last couple of years, you seem to really have captured the attention of a younger crowd from TikTok.
Yeah.
But, I see comments on your videos from a lot of people who have no idea what geocaching is, and like, oh, that's cool. What is it? So somehow your videos keep drawing in people who've never heard of geocaching. And do you have any a thought of how many, what portion of your audience are actual geocachers? Or
yeah, that's it's a good point, and that's honestly, that brings us really full circle back to the short form. That's one of the great things about TikTok or the YouTube Shorts is people will just scroll on there, and you're not necessarily following somebody, but you'll still get their content, if it's doing good analytically. So that's really where I see it does have a place, and that's why I think it fit perfectly with geocaching, because I think, just like me, I had no idea what it was until 2021 when my girlfriend and dad were having a conversation. It piqued my interest. I had never seen anything on it, and I was kind of always on all of these apps. I graduated in marketing as well. So I just am somebody who generally is aware of trends and what's going on, what people are doing. So I was flabbergasted. I was like, how on earth have I never heard of this? So I think that combination of that's about when TikTok, YouTube Shorts, that short form vertical format kind of blew up. And it just so happened that right at the same time I started making these videos, and people just had no idea what it was. I think most of my followers didn't. If I were to guess how many of the whatever million subscribers and followers I have downloaded and found one, I would say it'd be about 20, maybe 25%. I've actually done quite a few polls on YouTube, and that's about the range. So it's a ton of people, a ton of my followers, they might be disabled. They might be, too old to be geocaching. Some of them are too young. They're like, I don't have a car and my parents won't drive me, but I love watching your adventures. So there's a lot that aren't able to. And then I think a lot that just still, probably the biggest segment is they're kind of aware of it. They've seen my videos. They kind of have a general idea, but even then they still have not, downloaded the app and gone and found one. And so I think that's probably where most of my subscribers are, is they're interested. They're generally aware, but they haven't taken that leap yet.
I think you definitely have like a grip on that demographics. Of all the vloggers, I think you probably are the one who's maybe even bringing in the most off of social media.
Well, that's kind of one of the reasons that I started this. I mean, I just think we live in a day and age. I see it. Probably everyone watching this sees it. We're in front of screens all the time, like pretty much no matter what. Even, whether it's working or our free time, we're always in front of screens. And I don't think that's going away. I don't think tech is just going to, bounce back to where we were in the 1900s. Like, the internet's not going away. So none of this is going away. I truly believe that. But we can use it better, and we can utilize technology in a way that we're getting outside and we're going and doing things with friends, and we're meeting up, discovering new places. We're traveling to do these things. So really, one of the main points of my channel is especially kids. Like, growing up, I knew a world without internet. I knew a world without all of this tech, the smartphones, everything that we have now. And so my idea is there's a lot of kids, 18-year-olds, they were born into this era. They were born into this tech. So I'd like to show them a little bit of the other side, just, getting outside, playing around with friends, going on a bike ride to find geocaches, and just getting creative and adventurous with it. So
we have a good comment. Pizza Ninja here says, Hullsome is kind of like the Taylor Swift to the NFL with geocaching.
Where's my Swifties at? Let's go. That's awesome.
And Houston, Texas Dave says, congrats to all the subscribers.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We as a little bit of a cheers to, we have a little bit of a drink. You got a drink as well there, Hullsome?
I've got a large cup.
I've got that's sprayed, my Telltale go-to Monster Energy drink. Cheers for the milestone.
Cheers. Not a sponsored Stanley ad, by the way. This is just what I'm drinking.
just a good cup. Yeah.
Just a solid cup.
So you were also recently featured in the geocaching blog.
Yeah.
That's big. I think you still have more audience than maybe they do.
I think they're bigger on Instagram still, though.
Yeah, really? More than, I guess.
We're catching up. I didn't post on Instagram I actually just started again in December, and at that time we were just at 100K, and then we hit 200K last week. So Instagram's gaining some traction, which is nice, because that's also a different demographic, So it's funny because each of these platforms, TikTok's my youngest by far, and then YouTube leans a little bit older, and then Instagram would lean a little bit older than that as well. So, excited to get
even older.
Yeah, Facebook a little bit older too. But my Instagram reels, they automatically, I gain a lot of traction on Facebook. I've even had coworkers reach out to me that they were like, dude, I was on Facebook. I don't have social media. I just have Facebook. And all of a sudden I got this video and I was like, that voice sounds familiar. And they discovered my channel and had no idea I was even doing that, which is crazy to think about.
The secret life of Josh Hull.
For real, just annoying people one scroll at a time, I guess. They can't get away from me.
Mrs. Weaver is asking, what's your favorite type of geocache?
Good question. I mean, type for sure traditional. So I've had some great multi-cache hunts. So I got to say, other than traditional, I'll be the boring person that says traditional. Multi-caches are a blast. So I've definitely had some great ones of those. But traditional caches, and then specifically, recently I've really been looking for those puzzle caches, those ones where you have to guess the combination, any gadget caches, field puzzles. Those just blow my mind. Some of them are just incredible. So specifically traditional caches, but puzzle, gadget. And then, I used to avoid a lot of 3, 4, and 5 difficulties. But now I love it. And I think part of it's because I used to be afraid to post DNFs, and I used to be afraid to get DNFs. Like, I always wanted to find everyone. So maybe I didn't challenge myself as much as I should have. But now I honestly love, like, I used to filter. So 4s and 5s weren't included. And now I'm filtering. So it's like 1s and 2s are not included as much, just because it is more of a challenge and it's more fun. So great question.
Yeah. And even for making content, for making videos, right? Like how do you try to choose which caches are good that you think would be good for a video?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely hard. Like, whenever I go on these geocaching trips, I get overwhelmed. That's probably my favorite part. I love, like, planning trips and looking at maps. That's why partially why I got into this. Like, I love maps and discovering new places. And so when I look at the geocaching map, I used to just kind of filter to favorite points. And even that, I didn't discover that until like a year after geocaching. So all my original videos, like the first year, I had no idea what favorite points were. Like, I did not comprehend that part of the game. I was just like, you'll see my first 300 videos are like light post caches or whatever. But now, discover favorite points, obviously. So I started utilizing those. But then I started using the Cachly app as well. That was a game changer because then you can filter by date. So yes, favorite points they are a factor, but now I'll also filter to date and, like, look at an area. Like, if a cache hidden in 2018 has 15 favorite points, I might go try to find, that cache over one that was hidden in 2005 with like 30 favorite points, so it just kind of depends. Because, I found caches that have like 2 favorite points that were hidden years ago, and they're amazing, so you can't always rely just on favorite points. But that's kind of how I go about it now. And then I try not to research, really. Like, I don't want to, like, when I'm planning these trips and going to the geocaches, I don't want to, like, read the hint or read the activity logs or anything too much, or really at all even. Because I want to just go into the cache, like, authentically, so it's like a real reaction, Yeah,
you're someone who likes to take it in raw, just straightforward, go up and start searching.
Yeah,
you at least read the description just in case, because there might be information that's pertinent.
I'll read the description, but no, like, honestly, I'd say 3/4 of the caches I find I don't. When I always regret it is when I got to bring some water. Happens to me all the time, and I'm like, how did I not just read the description? So it definitely happens, but no, a lot of times I actually just don't read the description. I guess if anything, I do read the description. Like, that would be the one that I do read, but I try not to, like, go get too much information about it. But yeah, the water, that's a learning lesson. Always read the description.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed is that you, I guess it's kind of a trendy thing with modern social media. You tend to take people's comments and reply to them in videos. So, like, some of your videos will highlight somebody's comment, and then you'll make a video about it.
Yes, that was a huge game changer. I used to do it almost every video, but to that point, thank you so much. I did just go to my first event like a couple months ago, so I'm starting to now meet a lot of geocachers, but I think that was the original appeal of my channel and what I actually originally wanted to do. And I kind of said this in the geocaching blog, but I really just wanted to, I felt like I didn't watch any geocaching content creators. I really didn't even know that there were any. But then I would start watching a little bit, and I'd be like, I'm still so confused. And even though I had found like 10 or 15 or 20, I was like, they're just a whole level like above any beginner. And so that's kind of what I started focusing on, is like, I didn't want to make content for the 1% of people that knew about geocaching or had already been geocaching. I wanted to make it for the 99% of people that were like, what is geocaching, and had the same questions I did. So really that originally was what sparked my interest, is like, dang, I discovered this game. This is so cool. How did I not know about this? there's got to be hundreds of millions of other people that feel the same way.
It's a good point.
And here we are.
A lot of these videos that we put out, we just love the hobby so much, so we put out a video, but we just kind of jump right into it. Whereas I guess it's a double-edged sword, because you get experienced people who might start watching a video and be like, well, I know that, I've seen this a million times, and then they're not really all that interested. But you're snagging in all these people who've never seen it before. A huge
and you're exactly right, though. It is a double-edged sword, and I have to constantly teeter on it, because now that's where my channel's kind of changed a bit in the past year, especially, is, you know, I always focus on that. I used to just reply to videos and I'd make 10 videos a day. Now I don't do that as much. Now I explain much less, but I still try every video. I try to explain a little bit, or, you know, even if it's as small as like download the geocaching app. I think I put that in a video that I posted today, just download the geocaching app. So I still try to get some that would make sense for beginners to kind of help them with it. But a lot of my content now, it's like, if you don't know what it is, like, maybe you'll find out in the comment section. Hopefully somebody answers. And that's kind of the cool thing I think we've built, is there are so many people. If you go through my comments on my videos, there's so many people that are willing to help. And I used to reply to every comment. You know, I literally every single comment. And then I was like, oh, there's no way I can do this. And what's great is other people have stepped in and answered, you know, and helped out. So I think, you know, if people are curious enough, they'll go to the description or comments. But it's a double-edged sword, like you said.
And yeah, Happy Hodeg kind of along that line said, makes me wonder how Cacheline only has 2,300 subscribers. Well, I don't do a lot of intro videos.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I'd say the biggest thing, like, to anybody that is getting into it, is like, your long form, these lives, like, this is the depth of a channel. This is like your realest fans and the realest people and your best subscribers. You know, so that's what builds the depth, I think, is long form. That's why I need to get more into long form. I want to build that depth, and this community that you've built here, that's what I want to build, because the short form is kind of the more of that's the introduction type. That's the, I'm going to get a little taste of it and then get to know the rest. So, my advice to anyone is just like post as many shorts. And at first it really is about quantity. Like, I swear I straight up used to post 10 short videos a day, and some of them were 7 seconds. Like, they were literally like gimmicky. They would kind of like loop. At least I'd try to make them loop, you know, and so that's changed a lot.
When I first caught you, I was in and out of being subscribed as well, because you were just saturating the YouTube geocaching shorts with videos. And it's like 10 Hullsome and then another one, and then another 10 Hullsome and another one. Yeah. No, at first that was my philosophy. And I kind of vividly remember there was a pivot where I was like, quantity is still important now at this part of the game. But about a year ago, I was like, quality. Like, I don't need 5 videos, 10 videos a day. Like, I'd rather have one really quality video. And I'm still trying to get better at that part too. But the quality came because of the quantity. You know, I had to put out that many to learn what worked, what didn't. You know, I'm huge into studying the analytics of videos too. That's helped immensely. So being able to actually like utilize the analytics and what I've learned from that has helped a ton as well. Cosmonaut97 asked the question that is a good one too. How did you become a geocaching blogger or vlogger, and what got you into it? Because what anybody who watches Hullsome knows is that maybe not half his videos, but a good quantity of his videos are not geocaching related. They're video games. Like I think when I started, you were on Minecraft, and then you've also done a few other games. Like, what video games have you done, and how have you tied geocaching and video games together to be so successful?
Yeah, and I would like to do that even more. I mean, I grew up with video games. I grew up loving a few, like, I loved sports, I loved the outdoors, and I love video games. And to me, geocaching combines all of them. Like, the way I tell people is like, every video game has geocaches. They all have Easter eggs. They all have these little secrets and these hidden chests and everything. And geocaching is just that in real life. So you get the video game aspect of it where you get, you're getting more finds, you're filling out your grid. I look at a map and I almost get overwhelmed because I'm a completionist. When I play a video game, I'm beating it. Like I'm doing the whole thing, So that aspect of it, the video game aspect, I also grew up loving like games like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy and RuneScape. And I always love those kind of games because like you're adventuring around a map and you're discovering a world and there's so much that you don't know and you're learning about things, and then it's interactive. So you're like interacting with other live people. And I loved those video games. And, to me, honestly, geocaching feels so similar to like exploring the world of a video game, except it's way cooler because it's real life, And then
wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah. And then there's the sports aspect, I'm competitive. I'm, at least try to stay in shape and athletic. And people always ask, what's the point of geocaching? I'm like, if there's not one point other than you're getting outside and exercising, like, again, back to the screen time, we're all spending so much time in front of a screen. It might not seem like much, but like going even for short walks and geocaching and the crazy days where I go find 25 or 30 of them, like I'm burning thousands of calories just going crazy. So, and some people could even do, like, I haven't done them yet, power trails. Definitely want to do a 24-hour live stream power trail. So that might be coming this summer. I have a lot. That's the thing. I have a lot of ideas for content, but I also do work full time as well.
And that's another question that now that you raise it, what is it that you do for work, and how is that able to give you room to do so much geocaching and video editing?
Yeah, so I work remote for Disney ad sales. So, I started on ESPN. I was an account manager, so I worked just on ESPN networks. Then I became a senior account manager where I learned, Freeform, FX, National Geographic, ABC. So I learned all of the other networks. And COVID hit about the same time. And then I got what position I'm in now is advanced ad specialist. So what I do is train people from all across the country, whether they're in LA, New York, Chicago. I train them on our ad sales and our operations. So, working remote, that helps me a lot because I actually do have free time then where I can edit videos and, go on trips. I mean, I take PTO just like anybody does, though, to be able to go on those trips. And I, after work and, just like now after work or on weekends, Saturdays and Sunday mornings, like I'm editing or I'm on a geocaching trip. So I've just dedicated a lot of time to it at this point and just being consistent with it.
Here's another one. This is another leading into a big thing. Do you enjoy going to geocaching events? Asks Just Carlo. Because you posted recently that you attended your first event ever?
Yes. Yeah, I attended one. I had a speaker reach out from Boise. He asked, hey, like, could you come and do this? And I've always been nervous. Just because I'm not a nervous person. I mean, hopefully you all can tell from this, like I'm pretty extroverted, love to talk, love to chat with people. So I wasn't nervous about that, but I just like didn't know what to expect, I guess. And I think it's nerve wracking for anyone, whether you make content or not, like going to an event, it's like, what are people going to think of it? Whatever. So I was a little nervous. And when I got there, it was so much fun. Like there were probably, they said normally there's like 10 or 15 people. There was probably at one point 45 or 50 people. There were a ton of kids that came. They were super cool, super fun. Their parents were like, asking us questions. They kept asking questions. I was there for like 2 hours and basically just gave a speech, kind of like what I'm doing now. They were asking questions and I had so much fun. So I'm definitely very excited to get going to more events. I want to plan and create events. I've even talked to the Geocaching HQ team about, getting awesome trackables for events and things like that. But I know they just had Geo Woodstock as well in Arizona. So events are definitely something I want to get more involved with.
Yeah. Have you ever been to geocaching headquarters?
I have twice now. Yes.
Was that because you were in the area for work?
No, it actually wasn't. No. So 2 summers ago, I planned a trip to the Pacific Northwest. I actually wanted to go to North Cascades National Park. I love the national parks and everything. So, Washington has like some of the best geocaches in the world, with the headquarters there too as well. But so kind of had a trip planned to the area and hit up the HQ team. That was the first time I ever talked to any of them. So I got to meet them. We went out to lunch together and everything. And then when was the last time I went? I think it was about last year, sometime last summer. I went again as well. So I've met like a lot of the lackeys, and like Andrew was the main lackey, but I also met Brian Roth. He gave me an awesome geo coin. I'm like,
oh, hey,
they gave me like this whole box, this geo box full of one. So this was Brian. Brian.
Yes, his lackey
and his
tag.
Dog. Yeah, and they gave me like a unique special edition Pi Day.
Ooh, the Pi Day geocoin, yeah.
Yes. They gave me some awesome stuff, which is great. Now this is the box that I kind of keep some of those awesome things in.
Have you talked much about trackables in your videos? Because one person has asked, Tony Golden asked, do you enjoy the trackables part of the game? So like trackables and geocoins and whatnot?
So absolutely. I think that's one of the most misunderstood and or just not misunderstood, but like not understood parts. I do try to make videos on it. I'd say 1 in 10 or 20 videos, I'll mention it. And I always like to highlight travel bug hotels that I find because they're some of the coolest hides. Excuse me. But with that being said, I want to make a lot more content. Like and this is where it's like, I have all these ideas and not enough time. But I would love to create trackables and create videos even with them where it's like, where is this next? Or like whoever finds this next, FaceTime me and you'll be in the video type of thing. I have so many, creative ideas of trackables because I think those are one of the coolest parts of the game for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you make your own, because Houston, Texas Dave has just said create a path tag.
Yeah. That Houston, Texas Dave, you are on the right track. No, there's probably been about 50 different times I've said to myself, like, sit down, create it, take the time and just do this, because then you can hide it in every other cache and it's going to be awesome. People are going to find it and they're going to be stoked. Very high up on my radars. No, so I agree. I do need a path tag.
Although we might have to talk about logo, because another thing that I noticed is that your design work for your logo seems to be very similar to mine. It's got that pathway swish.
Is it? Wait. Oh,
they're not exactly the same, but it's so close. The mountain and the swish and everything.
Is it really? Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm seeing that now. Okay. I'll have to talk to my designer about that. What the?
I don't think there's a trademark on there at all. But CanThai Charles says you're now at 1,000,001, a little more than 1,000,001, but he just subscribed.
Oh, hey. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing.
There was another thought that just came to mind because we were mentioned a little earlier about Chris Ramsey before the show, and he likes escape room games, and so I was thinking, have you ever done an escape room? Because one of the things that I think a lot of geocachers enjoy is that hands-on puzzle solving, the gadget caches and stuff. And escape rooms seem to be really popular in this community, kind of like geocaching grew. Escape games also grew. So have you done any escape rooms?
The answer to that is no. That's just the most simple answer to it. To me, and I think they're so similar, they blew up like about the time that I was going to college. All of a sudden I started hearing about escape rooms, and I think Boise got a couple. And now every city I go to, there's like multiple escape rooms. I still think there's so much opportunity for collaboration between geocaching and escape rooms, because really these elaborate geocaches are just reverse escape rooms. I've described them as that before. I get all the time in my comments, like, you need to go do escape rooms. Not sure how much they'd enjoy me giving the secrets away of how I'd get out. But no, I have never done an escape room. That's something that's high up on my radar. I definitely want to do an escape room because I think I would absolutely love it. So I had a couple friends that they love doing escape rooms, and they were talking to me about it, and they had me convinced last winter. So there are a couple in Boise too. So I definitely want to do an escape room. I wonder how long it'd take me.
Well, they're usually about an hour.
Okay, fair enough.
That's a pretty safe bet.
Okay.
You got to do it within the time limit.
Go, okay. And if not, you're just like, see ya.
They leave you in there forever. You just die. You get out. It's prison. Forever prison. So what is your best adventure so far? Your best memory of geocaching? Because when did you start geocaching? It was 2 years ago, right? Or just over 2 years?
It's now, we've hit 3 now. So my first geocache find was March 2021. But favorite geocaching adventure? There's so many. One cool thing that Miranda and I did was we went to Thailand last year, and we didn't do it specifically to geocache. Geocaching's not huge there, but there were some awesome geocaches, and that's one of my favorite memories is we went to this street, and they were kind of pointing, and they were trying to talk to me, but I don't know I don't know their language at all. And they were kind of trying to point, and they're saying stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what they're telling me, but I'm just looking for this geocache. And finally across the street is where I found the geocache. And I realized afterwards I went back over to the store, and they were all laughing at me. They thought it was hilarious because they were trying to tell me and explain like it's across the street, but I was so confused. I was like, what is going on here? So I don't know why that just crossed my mind. Just being in Thailand and like seeing how different their geocaches were from ours. That was great. But then, I've also gone to Europe. So like Germany, Croatia. Okay, there we go. I've got my number one geocache that I found in adventure, because you said geocaching adventure, was the cave in Croatia. So I went to Dubrovnik in Croatia. That's where King's Landing was filmed in Game of Thrones. So I was there for 4 or so days. All the caches in that area, they're like 4 and 5 terrains. Like you have to climb a tree, you have to go swimming. There's like scuba diving ones. So this one, it's crazy. You go down and you see the massive cave. And it was definitely an adventure because to swim into the cave and go back there, I had to like put my passport, my wallet with all my cards, ID, everything off to the side, and then swim like 200 meters into the back of a cave. There were definitely a bunch of living animals in there. And I eventually found it. But that video is, if you guys haven't seen it yet, it's definitely my best geocaching adventure. It was probably an hour overall, but a great time. So
I'll have to find that video and stick it in the show notes for afterwards.
Yeah,
you did make a video of that.
I did make a video. Like there's parts of me, I have my phone and I'm like swimming one armed, and I'm like, this makes it from a 4 to a 5 difficulty real quick.
So this kind of ties into the next question. How is that not your number one video? That's like an extreme adventure.
Yeah, the reason it's not is because this was back in a time and place where I think I was doing 2-part video. I think I made it 2 or 3 different parts because I wanted everything to be on shorts and everything. So yeah, that's why there's definitely a few million views on TikTok and YouTube, but no, it's not even in my top 10 or 20 actually. Because
I took a look at your channel to find out what the most popular video is, and we'll switch the screen over so everybody can see what happens when I hit this button. And this is going back to your long form videos. It's got 12,000 views.
Yep.
Which seems so piddly compared to everything else on your channel. But it's because, again, like you said, you focused on the shorts, not the long form.
Yep, exactly. No, and like I said, that's kind of the biggest thing I need to pivot is The analytics on long form, like what makes a video work and what doesn't, totally different ball game from shorts. And so I have the shorts figured out, and it's honestly what I really like because it is, a bit easier. There's not all the files and the formats that there is with long form. But I'm ready to jump into it. I'm ready to learn it all. So
what I find also kind of funny is that your least viewed video is the silver play button unboxing.
Is it really? Oh my gosh.
600 views.
Oh, less than 1,000. Yeah. No, that's...
People just want to see geocaching, man. They just want to see geocaching.
I think so. Pretty much. Basically, yeah.
But if we take a look at your live tab, you've got your live stream video of hitting 1 million. I think you've removed a whole lot of the games, or maybe you just don't keep the game ones up, the gameplays.
Yeah, there's a few of them. I did delete a good amount, just because some of them, like, I used a thumbnail to like market a certain video, and then I just don't want people clicking on thumbnail and expecting to see a geocaching video and then get my video games too. And I did that a lot last year. This time I was like gaming a lot, going live all the time. What I've recently, if you scroll back up to the top, my popular lives, I've been finding geocaches on lives. We've had that one video. Let's see, the one that's like, help me find this geocache. I went there like 3 different times. We had like 2,000 video viewers at the same time. And then on TikTok at the same time had like 2,000 more. We had like almost 5,000 people just trying to guess everything. So I just started live streaming some. Geocaches definitely want to be doing that more. They introduced the vertical live streaming on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So that's something I want to do more as well.
Yeah, and I think that kind of interaction is, a lot of vloggers have tried to have that interaction, but you've got to have people willing to tune in on a dime, right? But you have such a large audience that there's a good chance that quite a number of people are just going to tune in live. Yeah.
It just kind of depends. But then, because if then the way the vertical live stream similar to TikTok is people will just be scrolling on the For You page or the shorts page, and then the live will pop up. So if it's me live finding the geocache, they're like, oh, we got to watch this too. So, yeah.
And just to round it out, your most popular shorts video by comparison has 97 million views.
Yeah. It'll hit 100 million like next month.
And YouTube keeps piping them out. Anyway, it's the one with the minion pop-up, the minion hide.
Definitely thought I found this one.
That's one of my favorite caches too. That was an unbelievable.
What? So it's not at the top, but could it be at the bottom? Don't pull here, but I can definitely see something inside of that. So I can't pull.
I think I've seen it somewhere else before. This particular hide, maybe in a photo or something. But
this whole
I don't know how. It's got to be the minions.
I think so. But like the weird thing is that 86 million, that's actually going to pass the Minions video. So that's a birdhouse. So it's an opposite or reverse escape room. So I think the Minions definitely for part of the reason why it got so big, but I think when people are just so interested in like what's going to happen, like I need to figure this out. So I think, but the Minions definitely helped. And then I had like the little Minions whistling as the background song. I think that was, I think people recognize it and they're like, I'm going to watch this.
Also on the flip side, can you think of perhaps your most disappointing geocaching experience? Anything that stands out, like an injury or a DNF that you just got so frustrated with and you gave up?
Oh man, there's a few DNFs where I've gotten frustrated with. The most, this one's recent. It's posted on TikTok. People might have seen it in the last couple weeks. I'm going through, the hint was low and slow, and I'm right next to a highway. I don't know if you saw this video, and I'm looking for it. I look for a minute. 5 seconds in, I see a snail. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting place for a snail. And I talk about it in the video. I'm like, oh, that's a weird spot for a snail. Didn't touch it. Didn't even think to touch it because it was California where there's just snails all over all the time for whatever reason. So I didn't touch it. The comments, that video has like 3 million views on TikTok now. It's blowing up on YouTube. YouTube just takes a little longer to gain traction. And every comment is like, low and slow, it's the snail, dude. It's the snail. That's up there for one of the most frustrating ones. Pretty much any of the DNFs that you see on my videos, at one point I didn't want to post them. I was like, this sucks because I just spent an hour searching and I'm not posting it. And a lot of people comment still on my DNF videos like, why are you doing this? I'm like, this is real. Like every geocacher watching me, we've all logged DNFs. Like this is the reality. I'm not just going to show you one side of it and not the other, you know? So my viewpoint on that has changed where I've now logged DNFs, but I'd say every one of those is equally as frustrating as the last. As far as just overall disappointing, there was a day or both my trips to Arizona, I found amazing caches, some of the best ones I've found. Phoenix has great ones, but I went there last July. The high was 118 degrees when I was there. So you can imagine geocaching was not much fun. I literally almost didn't make it out of Phoenix. I'm gonna be real. Almost did not make it. And then last time I went, I think around March, it just kind of rained the whole time. So geocaching in the rain's never too fun. But it was disappointing, but it's also just kind of the adventure of geocaching. Like you never know what the weather's going to be like.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of it. Do you have much winter where you're at? Like, do you go in the winter very much?
I've been traveling. Like last winter I went, took a trip to San Diego and I'm kind of traveling to warmer places, but I have some videos. Boise's pretty, like, I call it a mild winter for me because I'm from northern Nevada where we got I think at my house growing up, we got 100 inches a year. So 8 feet of snow a year. Boise, we get 2 to 3. So a lot less. To me, it's not too bad of a winter. Some people might hate it, but mainly if it's wintertime, you'll catch me snowboarding.
Oh, that's right. There was one that you had, you were snowboarding on the mountain there. So yes. You prefer summer warm weather caching than winter caching?
I would say so. I would. Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Have you been across the border? Have you been up to Canada yet?
Yes. So last summer I went to Banff. That was up there. The Despicable Me cache was actually in Canada, in Calgary. So that trip was amazing. That cache owner was great. I got to meet them as well. But we went to Banff. We drove up kind of closer to Jasper. It was beautiful, unbelievable. And then I've been to Whistler a couple times. I've been to Vancouver. I also have family in Windsor. So my dad's side of the family's from Detroit. So right on the Canadian border. So I've kind of been, honestly, a lot of different places in Canada.
Well, next time you come over, if you go to Windsor, that's about an hour and a half from me. So maybe we can meet up and get some cache.
Hey, yeah, let's do it.
Ravenclaw Tia just said, just discovered your channel last week with the Pez Pole vlog. Thanks for the wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Love all the free little free libraries and the fact that people think caches should be used or mistaken for drug drops.
Yep.
Could, not should. Could be used, not should be used.
Yeah. Big difference there. Yes. Yeah, I get that. That's probably one of my most common questions in the comments is that. But the little free libraries, that's those are some of my favorite caches. I just posted one last week it was a Harry Potter and it played the song and everything with it. And I think people love those too because they've seen them, right? In the US, we have them all over. I think in Canada as well. I found them in Canada. So I think people that aren't into geocaching see those and they're like, oh, I can recognize that. And so I think those videos do really well for that reason, but just as well as I just think they're always some of the funnest caches.
Now you also have a pet in your repository of geo-tools. Can you
yes.
talk about your little puppy?
Geo retriever guy. Yeah, his name is Steeler. He's a toy Aussie. If you didn't see it earlier, way back at the beginning of this live stream, I had Steeler. He was licking my face. I let him lick my face when he was a really young puppy, and he's done it ever since then. So that's his love language for me. But he's a toy Aussie. We got him. He's about a year and a half old now, so he's still a puppy, but very loud, loves to bark. But aside from that, he doesn't chew things up, and he's the best companion. He's always just so happy when we get home from a trip. And all of my parents' dogs and my sister's dogs, they're like best friends. So he's definitely been a great addition.
Have you trained him to find any caches yet? Come on.
I have a couple of videos that might make you think that I've trained him, but I wouldn't say he can scout out the geocaches just yet.
Well, and I think most of the stuff you do are gadget caches anyway as well.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot.
Yeah, and if you're out on a trail or in a forest or something, then maybe he'd be able to find them a little easier by sniffing out other.
Yeah,
the smell.
And he's done that. There's one called the Orange Cone by our house. It's in this open field. That's the one I remember he did find. He ran up to it and started sniffing it. I'm like, this is perfect for the video. Let's go.
So one other thing you mentioned as well is your geocaching app. What's your favorite geocaching app? You mentioned Cachly in the official app. Do you have one that you go to all the time?
I'd say, I probably use geocaching the most just because I think it has a super easy, user interface, and it's kind of easy to navigate. But anytime I'm like getting into planning a trip, if I'm in a foreign country, like I'm going to Cachly, they got the translate. I didn't discover that for like 3 days in also. So I was on a foreign trip in Germany, just trying to read German and translate with Google and all that. So I'd say generally just the official geocaching app, unless I'm traveling abroad. I've also used like the activity log, the pictures feature on Cachly for those caches I've spent an hour searching for and still have no idea what to find. I'll go on Cachly and kind of look through the picture logs, and sometimes they help, but I've honestly started realizing people will delete, cache owners will delete any that give like anything away. So, some caches it's useful, some it's not.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Have you hidden any geocaches?
Yes. So I have, I think 7 total, but only 5 active. The first one got stolen within a week. So I got thrown right into it. I can relate to all the cache owners out there that it gets stolen. And it was a piece of driftwood from Michigan. So it was like unique. Couldn't really replace it. But I still have 5 current hides. My most favorited one I hid, 7 or 8 months ago. It's called You're Screwed. So maybe that gives you a little hint on what the container is. But yeah, that's my most favorite one. I think it has like 8 favorite points. I think I have like 30 total. So I know that's nothing, but I have a lot of like good ideas for hides, and something I want to do maybe when I'm, not full time. And this is, I want to go to businesses just because even the one I posted today, it was like, I don't know if everyone's seen it, but it's like, I go to a gym and they give me this like doorbell alarm thing, and I, have to ring it, and then I had to go end up finding the doorbell. So I love those types of hides. I don't know if anyone here's seen Nathan For You. I believe he's Canadian, Nathan Fielder, but he has a good TV show. It's hilarious if you haven't seen it, but he's super awkward and goes about it like that. That's probably like, I envision like a TV show, but it'll probably be my YouTube channel where I go to businesses and they probably have no idea what geocaching is, but I pitch this elaborate idea to help them, get more traffic and bring people to their door and everything. So, I have a lot of great ideas in mind for sure.
I can imagine that it does take a lot of time. Like making videos is one thing, but making videos and making geocaches, quality caches, and having a fun.
It's a balancing act. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad I've been able to hide though, because I was playing for like a year and a half and didn't have any hides, and I didn't really understand that aspect of the game. And so now that I've actually hid and kind of have some hides out there, it is nice, but still lots in the bag.
Kind of a more advanced question from CanThai Charles. You may or may not have an answer for it, but what platform do you use for trip planning? Do you use pen and paper, Excel, spreadsheets, or cache tool? All up in here.
It's all up here, baby. Even like, cause I have, 2 trips planned in the next month. By the time I get there, I even almost take it day by day, because geocaching, like, you can even plan out like, oh, I'm going to hit these and hit these. And then once you narrow down, it's like, oh, I have time for these 5 or, I honestly don't have like an Excel spreadsheet, the notes on my app, but generally in my head, because like the trip that I have planned coming up, I've probably spent 2 hours right now, like looking at all the caches and then like figuring out and kind of planning my route. And then I'll book like a hotel room here because, there's these caches I want to find here. And so, honestly, kind of just up in my head for the ones that I know that I really want to find. And then, I'll use the notes on my phone. Good question though.
I'm going to quickly announce what the prize is. I've got a little swag bag here. It's got path tags on it. There's a bunch of path tags inside, and if you're new to geocaching, you don't know what path tags are, they're those little, maybe nickel-sized coins. They have little tracking numbers on the back, and you can collect as many as you can. Some people have walls and albums full of them. And so there's a bunch of those in here. There's a few other collectible things, swaggy things, and I'm also going to throw in a $10 gift certificate to Shop Geocaching. And I will be having a audio podcast draw as well. There will be a question for you to answer if you tune into the podcast version of this interview. Scrolling back through chat because there's so much active chat. It's awesome. Oh yeah, Kenneth Miners just subscribed. Looking forward to binging your channel.
Yes, thank you.
You could probably binge the shorts. It would take, I don't know how long it would take you to binge the shorts. How many do you actually have?
It would take a while. So I had at one point 3,100. Yeah. So now I think it's down to 1,700.
Okay, so you've removed a whole bunch.
I removed like at least 1,000. Yeah, definitely. My earlier day videos, there's some that are good. They're fine. They're like feel gimmicky to me now, or like, I don't know, whatever. I just deleted some of them.
Oh, here's another question. Would you play a geocaching video game? Do you think that geocaching can translate to a video?
Oh, for sure.
You had talked earlier, because there's a certain kind of mentality with video gaming that, there's a discovery and adventure kind of within the game, which translates nicely to that scavenger hunt out in real life. You think it would go the other way around?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I saw the TikTok this morning, but they were saying for people that are into adventuring in the outdoors, play these video games. And one of them was like, you were like at this like fire, what do they call it when there's like fire lookouts? That's probably what they're called, like fire lookouts, and they're the big buildings, and like, you look for certain fires, and then you plan the attack on how to like, attack or mitigate the fire or whatever. That was one of them. And then the second game they talked about was like, it was like a geocaching video game, and I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but it was literally like an open world, and your basically only mission is to go look for little hidden things. And I was like, this is literally it's almost like these video game developers like took from that too, because if you think about it, geocaching came around in the 2000s, and I played games, like I said, World of Warcraft, that had, and they didn't introduce it in 2004 or 5, like 2008 or 9, all of a sudden they had these, they called them caches, and you could get certain trinkets and all these things in them. And I started seeing them getting introduced more and more in video games in general too. So I absolutely think it could be, and I would play it, but at the same time, it's funny because my love for video games, I still have it. I still do play, but since discovering geocaching, it's gone down so much because I just find myself like looking outside, like I want to go find some, there's just so much out there, so many trips, so many different places, so many new discoveries. So I do think they have a place where they fit together. I do think you could do vice versa, geocaching, the video game. But to me, it's like this is the ultimate video game. I love it.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing that drew a lot of people into geocaching, because it's technology. So people behind their screens on a computer all the time suddenly they can follow their screens outside and get the best of both worlds. And
yes.
Translated very well.
It's amazing.
Okay, so is there any kind of tips that you would give to people who are just starting out geocaching, just in case there's some people who are first-time cachers or never heard of it who are tuning into this audio podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. So do research before searching. I know that I said that I don't look at activity logs and hints, and, that's mainly for the videos, honestly, because I want them to be authentic and going about it like you would, right? I want, when you're watching my videos, for you to feel like it's you playing it. And, but I would not recommend that for beginners in geocaching. So if you're just starting out, I would recommend look for a 1 or a 1.5 difficulty first. Do not, like, if it's 2 difficulty or higher, do not try that first. It's just going to drive you crazy. So get a few 1.5 difficulties under your belt. If you're struggling with the 1 or 1.5 difficulties, read the hint, read the description. I would read the description anyways, but then read the hint, read the activity logs. They sometimes include pictures as well. So the activity logs can be super helpful. But looking at the difficulty and terrain rating, that's the main thing, right? I mean, even the size, right? If it's a larger cache or even regular size, then it's probably going to be easier to find than, the smallest, a micro or a nano or anything like that. So look for the lower difficulties. After you find 10 or 20 of them, it's all going to be history, and you'll have a good idea of what to look for. And once you get to 100, you're good to go. You're on the adventure with us.
Some might say they've not stopped learning. You can find 10,000 caches and still find new original things that people have created.
I mean, I found over 1,000, and that snail one blew my mind. I was like, no.
What'll I think of next? Do you feel awful about not being able to make it to Geo Woodstock?
I was invited by the kids at the event. They were like, "You have to go." No, I don't. I wouldn't say I feel bad, but I would like to make it to one.
Well, next year is in West Virginia, so there should be a whole lot of creative caches. It's near, I don't know if you know of West Virginia Tim, but he puts out a whole lot of creative gadget caches and very themed stuff that a lot of people love. And that's only a couple hours from next year's Geo Woodstock. So
that's great.
Get that on your schedule now.
Absolutely.
Calendar.
Oh, that sounds great. Yes, I've heard of the legendary WV Tim for sure.
We'll get another question in here from Houston, Texas, because this is a good one too. Have you had any law enforcement encounters?
Yeah, great question. So the only one I've ever had is in Seattle, thankfully. And they were aware of geocaching. So they were kind of on a boat, and I was like, it was one of the like spikes, one of the like metal cleats next to a pier. So I was just looking around, and they asked me, and it was like right about the same time as I found it. So thankfully I was like, "Oh, I'm geocaching." And they were like, "Oh, that's super cool." The geocaching HQ's in Seattle. So, and then they gave me other geocache locations where they were like, "Oh, check this one out." So my law enforcement encounter was pretty amazing because they did know about it, but haven't had any other run-ins aside from that. That's a good one though. Yeah. Yes. Stay clear.
Here's the question if you want to be entered into the draw for the second one of these giveaway swag packs. So the question that you have to answer by sending an email to tgif@cachetheline.net, podcast prize. Send an email to that address with the subject, whatever you want as a subject, but answer this question: what is Josh's dog's name? And if you know his, how did you put it earlier, Josh? If you know your favorite football team?
Yep, favorite NFL team should give you a good idea. May or may not be in the background.
Too hard to figure that one out. And so I think that was just about it. We have the draw to give away now for the live chat. Right, 3, 2, 1. Let's do this draw. And the winner is Kim's Live Life Outdoors. Kim's Live Life Outdoors channel. Awesome. Congratulations. And also huge congratulations to Hullsome for that 1 million. I mean, we're just piddly little people here.
No. Nah.
Well, cause
it's crazy to me.
Yeah, like I always tell people, like with geocaching, how big's your channel? And we're like, well, the biggest channel would be Geocaching Vlogger, and he's just cracked 100K because the geocaching community is like, they're not so much into videos, they're into getting outside, and so it's not really a huge community, it's very niche. And then you come along and shatter all.
Yeah. Who knows? I even thought about, like, is that a thing? Because I thought about it the other day. I saw a video, I forgot who, but they're talking about breaking world records. And I was like, I wonder if I could submit to the Guinness World Record book, like, first geocaching content creator to 1 million. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. Like, that sounds like it'd be cool. I don't know what else I'd beat a world record in, but.
You'd always ask. You never know.
For real. Yeah.
Yep.
I was also wondering what the world record would be for most geocaches found in a day, because that's what I want to do, the live stream, and I want to do the extraterrestrial highway. My home state is Nevada. For those of you that didn't know, so I'm from Nevada. That's kind of been in the works, at least in my head, for a while now, is seeing how many I can find in 24 hours and beating that world record. So if anybody knows, let us know what the record is.
Yeah, and the ET Highway is the place, would be, I think, well, at least in Nevada, one of those power trails, especially ET Highway, would be a good one to try to get the most caches you can find in a day. When next time you do a power trail, your first power trail.
Yes, because I haven't done one yet. Yeah, so I always get people that are like, "You only have 1,000 finds," and I'm like, I gotta shut them up. I gotta go on a power trail and find like 3,000. So then they can't be like, "Oh, you only have 1,000 finds."
Well, I'm looking at my stats because I have done the ET Highway, and we managed to do the 2,400 at the time caches in 4 days. So it is possible if you really dedicate yourself to break 1,000. We got to 900. On the nose. So it is possible.
So how many finds do you have?
I think I'm close to 23,000 now. But Ontario is just packed. So don't take that number. Like, if you're a beginner, that's
23,000.
Because it's just Ontario, where I'm at, is just packed with power trails. And so there's a lot of people with way higher counts than even that.
Wow.
So I always say your find count. Yeah, your find count really depends on what your local area is like.
Yeah.
So if you have 1,000 finds and there's maybe 50 close to you, then that's huge just in itself. So don't compare your numbers with somebody else directly, because there's really no comparison. There's so many other factors involved.
Okay. No, I appreciate that.
I don't think there's anything else, unless there's any final words that you had for people. Say, where's Steeler?
Where's Steeler? Steeler, do you want to bring him? All right, he's coming up. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd have to say is, Jeff, thank you so much for having me on. And thank you to the chat for all hanging out with us for the last couple hours. You obviously have a really amazing community here. So the same thing that you would say to me about finds, I would say to you about subscribers. It does not matter whatsoever. So just keep doing what you're doing. And thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I will say, like, the geocaching community in general is really, really great. Like, geocaching community is one thing. The online geocaching community, like all the social media stuff, quite often you'll find the same people across all the channels, and there are so many people who are just influencing in their own rights. So this community is just awesome. So huge thanks to everybody in chat as well. And on Facebook, there's Steeler.
Steely. Everyone's sure to see you, bud.
I did have one other thing I want to, as my own little congrats and thanks for coming on and celebrating 1 million. I have a couple of things that I want to send to you at some point. I have now created these little collectible. I wonder if it's going to focus right.
That is so sick.
Collectible little wooden tokens. In Europe, they call them woodies. They're kind of like geocoins. Okay. But I have a website and I'm launching some stuff, and so I want to send you a pack of these. You can collect them, you can give them out, you can toss them in the trash if you want to. But that little design to celebrate 1 million subscribers.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's incredible. Let's go. We got some game pieces now. We can use them as poker chips.
Hey, there you go. So yeah, on that note, you've gained a few more subscribers from this live stream.
Let's go.
Awesome, and thank you everybody for tuning in, and stay tuned for the audio podcast version probably the next week or two, because things are just ridiculously busy right now. So, as always, I guess, happy caching and excellent adventuring. See you on the next one.
See ya. Thank you.